Chapter 2 Ascension, Sacrifice and the Cage. Homo Ergaster. Homo ergaster, an essential hominid species, emerged in Africa around 1.9 million years ago, leaving an indelible mark on human evolution. Recognized for its advanced tool-making capabilities, Homo ergaster exhibited a modern body build with slender proportions, longer legs, and a reduced face. Key fossil sites, such as Kubi Fora in Kenya, reveal insights into the species' anatomy, cultural aspects including living in close extended family units, and technological advancements like tool-making. Homo ergaster likely had a wider range of vocalizations than modern humans, including clicks, grunts, and growls. These sounds could have been used to communicate basic needs, such as hunger, thirst, and danger. They may also have been used to coordinate hunting or gathering activities. Gestures, such as pointing, waving, and facial expressions, were likely also an important part of Homo ergaster communication. These gestures could have been used to supplement vocalizations or to communicate in situations where vocalizations were not possible, such as when hunting or gathering in noisy environments. Homo ergaster's body language likely played a significant role in their communication. Posture, facial expressions, and eye contact could have been used to convey a wide range of emotions and intentions, such as anger, fear, happiness, and curiosity. It is likely that Homo ergaster used a combination of these different communication methods to convey complex ideas and messages. Their communication was likely more limited than that of modern humans, but it was still sophisticated enough to allow them to cooperate and survive in a variety of environments. Homo ergaster represents a pivotal chapter in human evolution, embodying early advancements in tool-making, adaptation to diverse environments, and exploration beyond the African continent. Fossilized remnants offer a glimpse into the challenges and triumphs of a species forging its path in the ancient world. An awakening consciousness. Great Rift Valley, East Africa. Va was part of a small tribe of Homo ergaster struggling to survive on the harsh African savanna 250,000 years ago. She moved with an innate grace through golden grasses swaying under azure skies, able to appreciate the raw beauty beyond mere utility for survival. In her youth, Va often wandered from the tribe's rock shelters, spending hours gazing out across the rolling plains glowing crimson in the dawn. She felt wonder stirring within her breast that this landscape endured before she was born and would remain after she passed. Unlike her kin occupied solely by everyday needs, glimmers of this emerging awareness both thrilled and troubled the young woman when lone dark clouds marred the sun's consistent passage. What she felt now her offspring might know fuller one day. Va's mother Niena usually scolded her daughter for wandering dreamy and distracted, neglecting a share of foraging, childcare and tools to mend. But inwardly she swelled with pride that bold Va showed more imagination than the other placid females who remained contented as long as bellies stayed filled. Once, when Va was a girl, Niena even whispered legends from her own grandmother of ancient days when stars themselves walked the earth. Fanciful tales meant to warn against leaving fires or disrespecting the adults. Yet Va treasured these moments of shared secret lore, taking scant reprimands as acceptable cost for feeding such curiosity. Who else but elders might remember pasts before pasts? When Va's pairing time came, anxiety and excitement met in equal measure. Strong, quiet Dam brought plentiful hides and the best axes crafted from stags he felled single-handed, proving himself as provider. Accepted by her father and tribe, he seemed to Va a sturdy tree that would ever shelter family. But in private moments away from judging eyes the young woman discerned glimmers of poetry within her still mysterious mate. Scars etched Dam's hands and chest from countless battles won against horned beasts and cruel elements. But his eyes sketched sunrises she beheld reflected there alone. As seasons cycled, the love between Va and Dam bloomed like a resilient flower amidst the savannah's challenges. They embarked on the tender journey of parenthood, welcoming 2 boys into their fold. The boys, born of the golden union between Va and Dam, became the heartbeat of their existence. Va marveled at the intricate tapestry of life woven within her family, finding joy in the simple moments that echoed together. Va and Dam reveled in the laughter of their children, the warmth of the campfire stories, and the shared dreams beneath the vast African sky. The boys, reflections of the union between grace and strength, added a new dimension to their lives. Each day became a testament to the enduring legacy of love, as the family found strength in unity and solace in their shared dreams. Va, once the dreamer beneath crimson dawns, now witnessed the continuation of her spirit in the sparkling eyes of her sons. The golden grasses whispered tales of resilience, and the azure skies bore witness to the evolving saga of their tribe. The harshness of survival was softened by the love that flowed between Va, Dam, and their cherished boys. Dam, the sturdy tree, embraced his role as both protector and nurturer. As a family, they faced the challenges of the savannah, standing tall against the winds of change. In the intimate moments away from the tribe's scrutiny, Va and Dam continued to nurture the flame of their love, creating a haven within the expanse of the African wilderness. The boys, inheritors of a legacy shaped by wonder and poetry, grew under the watchful eyes of their parents. Their childhood echoed with the laughter of innocence, and their hearts beat in harmony with the rhythm of the savannah. As the family shared the bounty of the hunt and the warmth of their closeness, they created a sanctuary within the ancient landscape. Under the canopy of the African sky, as the family gathered around the crackling campfire, the air was filled with the warmth of shared stories and the aroma of roasting game. Dam, his weathered hands carving skillfully through the meat, glanced at Va with a fond smile. "Remember, my sons, the secrets of the hunt lie not just in the strength of your arms but in the silence of your patience. Watch and wait, and the prey will reveal itself." Va, her eyes reflecting the flickering flames, added, "And never forget the dance of the grasses. The wind whispers its secrets, and the land guides us. Respect nature, and it will be our ally." The older son, keenly observing his father's technique, asked with curiosity, "Father, how did you learn to craft such perfect sharp knives?" "They pierce the meat like the swiftest birds." Dam, passing a finished piece to his son, replied, "Each scar on my hands tells a tale of a lesson learned. Crafting flint tools is an art, a toil between strength and finesse. You'll learn, my son, just as I learned from those who came before me." As the family feasted, the younger son, his eyes wide with wonder, inquired of his mother, "Tell us again about the stars walking the earth, Ima. Are they watching us now?" Va, her face illuminated by the fire's glow, began weaving a tale. "Long ago, our ancestors believed that the stars were ancient spirits, guardians of the night. They watched over us, guiding our paths. When you gaze at the night sky, remember, our ancestors are among those stars." Dam, chuckling softly, added, "And perhaps, if you listen closely, you might hear the laughter of our ancestors carried by the winds. They share the wisdom of the ages." As the night unfolded, the family shared laughter, stories, and the unspoken language of love. The crackling flames mirrored the bonds that held them together, a flame passed from generation to generation. In those moments of shared warmth, the family's journey became not just a survival tale but a saga of community, resilience, and the timeless dance of life under the African sky. Another dazzling African sunset had given way to a brilliant and clear star-filled night. Va had always enjoyed the transition from day to dusk to nightfall. The stifling heat of the day gave way to a gentle warm breeze, caressing her face as it meandered its way around the Rift Valley. Passing grief. The seasons passed, the tribe moved from campsite to campsite, foraging and hunting in their battle for survival. As the evenings and nights cooled, the tribe settled in a long familiar grove of acacia trees, amid the long grasses and the distant calls of animals. She heard her little one cry out for her, Ima. Ima, and she turned her head, following the familiar high-pitched voice. His older brother was tugging at his hair, and a quick shriek from Va was enough to end their one-sided duel. The children were puzzled and unsettled by the behavior of the adults. They had not seen the older members of the tribe in such distress before. Sitting quietly by the smoldering campfire and cradling her mother's head in her lap, Va knew that her mother's time had passed. Tears streamed down her face. The other adults gathered around, chanting gently, stroking the graying hair on Niena's face. They were all caught in grief, for Niena was a mother or grandmother to most of them. She had been a continuous thread for most of their lives, and she was no more. Va could not remember a time when her mother was not at her side. Her earliest memories were of Niena, the caring, hugging, feeding and scolding figure of her childhood. Theirs had always been a close relationship, and as Va grew older, she realized just how much her mother meant to her. As the alpha female of the troop, her mother's prestige shone upon her too. Va did not remember her father. He vanished from her childhood before any memories took firm hold. There were the other menfolk in the clan that had been fathers to her brothers and sisters, but her mother always seemed to recognize a special love for Va's father and for her. The next day, the troop moved northwards, slowly marching their way along a well-trodden elephant track, searching out the next meal, constantly alert for danger. Va's heart was terribly heavy. The boy on her back was sleeping soundly, so he could not hear her quiet sobs. Niena's lifeless form was left at dawn, half cocooned in straw and twigs, by the spent fire, alone and silent. Just another African dawn. Dam came around from the front of the group to see his mate, their older son following closely behind. He stared down at her with a quizzical look, more confused than concerned, gesticulating the question. "Why tears?" he clicked as he stroked her cheek. He did not comprehend the entire depth of her grief. The here and now was always his focus. Dam was a fine man, father to her sons, a brave hunter and a loving mate, but Va had not expected his understanding. Va had realized early on that the others did not see the world with the mind like she did. She did not know why. She knew that she was grieving for her mother in a way that the others could not understand, but she grieved for the future too. She knew that her boys would see her and Dam swept away, like her mother, but she could not explain it to them. Her tears were not just for Niena but for the sadness of inevitable future partings. She was also caught by the curiosity for where Niena was now. Could her mother still be alive in some strange way? Where would her own thoughts be after her life ended? She felt empty. She alone knew that an end will come for all of them. Their clicks, hand gestures and sounds were good for the simple day-to-day but could never convey Va's thoughts and feelings, try as she might. The day passed like most others and the clan finally gathered for the night. The men had started a fire and the antelope hunted down 3 days ago was finally consumed. Cliff top. Perched high on the outcrop, a pair of ancient eyes gleamed brightly as they followed the progress of the noisy troop approaching the outcrop. Intelligent, curious and cunning eyes hunted out individuals far below. Glowering in anticipation, relishing satiation, XuXul surveyed his prey. It had knowledge of these strange creatures below. They were new arrivals, they changed so quickly. Its curiosity was piqued once again. It shifted noiselessly, the silent crackling of his wings inaudible, the rhythm of its breathing imaginary, and the timbre of its heartbeat long ceased. The children were playing catch with a small water iguana they had cornered in a small cave. It posed no threat, so I left them to it. She pointed out to her sister, Ki, the berry tree across the small sandy bank which they had trodden over to. The sandy beach swept into a small lake that was sheltered on all sides by the high cliff sides of the outcrop. Va had fond memories of this place as a young girl. The peace and beauty, the plentiful food and the cool shadows made for an ideal stopover, but there was one taboo that could never be broken. Ima had warned all of her kin to stay away from the water's edge. Va and Ki were well aware of what lurked below the calm and inviting waters beyond the sandy beach. "Let go," yelled Ka to Ab, "the yellowtail is mine," as he shoved his younger brother to the sand. They both laughed as the small reptile squirmed to escape from Ka's grip. Va turned around. "Let it go, Ka, we do not eat such things," she said with a slight scowl. Ka clutched the iguana's tail more keenly than ever, determined to keep hold of his prized toy, even at the expense of annoying his mother. Va was in no mood to be defied. She strode over to the boys and shook the reptile out of Ka's grip, and it finally scurried rapidly, disappearing into the bush. Ka was not happy. "It's mine, I found it," he pleaded as he squatted down defiantly onto the sand. Va was unusually tense and worried, constantly peering around and across the water's surface. Something was just not right, and there was something else too. That cold, inexplicable dread had also returned. They were too close to the edge, but all were thirsty, and the water did look inviting. Water's edge. Dam came over to the women and the boys, their footsteps leaving clear tracks in the sand that were patiently and silently surveyed from on high. XuXul suddenly felt a surge of excitement course through its spectral veins. It had waited patiently for an age to be satiated, that peculiar and tormenting hunger that energized and invigorated. Its eyes could see the huge gray-green reptile gliding effortlessly, its stealthy path below the water's surface, diligently steering itself toward the small group below, churning eddies of mud and lake debris in its wake. XuXul uttered a silent gurgling growl, excitedly shuffling its mangled feet, curling claws at the ready. The Nile crocodile was truly massive, all fangs and claws, probably a century or more in age. He was master of the lake, and he was ravenously hungry. The secret, hidden winged watcher, XuXul, was now delirious with anticipation. Its huge scaly wings rustled one against the other, silently extending to their full breadth, preparing to swoop. The brooding boy crouched quietly on his haunches, seething eyes casting their envious gaze toward Ab and their mother. The toddler suckling contentedly in his mother's cradling embrace. Invasive, destructive, powerful, envious emotions seized the boy as he stood up, looking for an opportunity to interrupt and redirect Va's attention. Now was the moment XuXul had long waited for. It concentrated intently and with its mind's eye, made its way easily into the boy's thoughts, and amongst the flowing blue and orange turmoil, forced the red to emerge. Unabridged envy resonated within the boy's body. Then there, upon a sturdy branch floating in the shallows, a beautiful yellow and orange speckled butterfly landed gracefully, wings gently waving in the warm breeze, bobbing to the rhythm of the waves. "Look," as he pointed, wide-eyed to the butterfly. Well did he know the taboo. Va's voice echoing the warning loudly in his mind, but he knew exactly what he wanted to do. A perfect plan, a true motive. In an instant, his brother was at his side, and with the gentlest of prods, the toddler stepped gingerly towards the yellow and orange-tipped wings, dipping his toes at the water's edge. Mesmerized by the beauty in his view, oblivious to the mortal danger lurking beneath. "No!" screamed Va, now running fast toward the water, her heart pounding in her chest, panicked thoughts scorching through her mind. And in an instant the whole world was about to change forever. Va screamed again. She was now sure that her sons were in mortal danger. Dam and Ki turned abruptly, immediately sensing that extreme danger was at hand. Va was charging toward the boys, and what had been a moment of tranquility and calm turned abruptly and catastrophically into chaos and confusion. The quiet calm of the water's surface gave way into an eruption of foam and spray as the crocodile lunged out of the water, thrusting its giant jaws toward the boy. Ka fell back onto the sand, terrified at the scale and ferocity of the attacking reptile. Ob froze, uncertain and confused. He was unaware of the immediate danger he faced. In that instant, when all was nearly lost, Va managed to grip his left hand and pull him away from the fast-opening jaws. She saw her two sons tumble across the sand, toward dam and safety. The crocodile snapped its mighty jaws shut with bone-juddering force. The tiny humanoid form vanished in a swirling blood-red foam as the crocodile rolled back into the murky water with its prize locked tightly in its deadly grip. XuXul's frenzy. Wings outstretched, XuXul launched itself into the melee below. Its first foray took it directly into the jaws of the crocodile as it snapped shut. As it effortlessly glided through, untouched by corporeal matter, it was clear that another intersection would be needed, so XuXul skillfully banked and crossed into and out of the swirling waters as the crocodile moved back into its lake. To XuXul's astonishment, its hunger remained strangely unsatiated. All previous encounters, timed to intersect perfectly at the precise moment of an animal's death throes, were always a delicious thrill, filling it to the brim with vigor anew. The greater the prey's anguish, torment and pain at death, the greater the satisfaction and perverse joy consumed by XuXul. The greater the energy it received and the more powerful it felt. Confused and frustrated, XuXul prepared for a third and final attempt, and as it banked in a wider arc and dived toward the now submerged crocodile below. Then, and for the first time in eons, XuXul felt a deeply unsettling fear, a fear of the unknown and of the new. First ascent. Va had no recollection of the moments after she grabbed Ob's arm and pulled him to the safety of the sandbank. Like the moments when one awakes from a deep slumber, her thoughts were disjoint, her mind unfocused, but she was awake. She felt that she was floating in warm water, weightless and calm. She could see her family running toward the undergrowth, Dam clutching Ob and Ka struggling through the low tree line. She heard muffled shouts from the adults and saw Dam turn back and look at dismay toward the sandbank. She then peered down and could see the crocodile, swimming away from the attack, a bloody trail following it slither back into the depths. It was then, for the first time, she realized that she was free from her body. Suddenly, Va felt a rush of air beside her, and to her horror, a great flying beast, of a sort never seen before, was diving toward her. Its long wings flapped furiously, its gnarled and twisted beak preparing for a deadly snap. It looked like a giant flying crocodile, set on tearing her limb from limb. A loud clap of thunder and a very bright light broke her terror trance. She was cast in a warm glow, a bright light descended gradually from above. She glanced over and saw the ferocious winged reptile cower away from the light, its eyes surprised in curiosity and wonder. She felt drawn toward the light above her, a gentle upswell encouraging her toward the light. She was unafraid, calm and without pain. She protested, "I must return, my boys, damn, the troop, they needed me." A calm voice, one that she had heard only in her dreams, spoke to her, explained that all was well and that a very long wait had at last ended. The light folded itself around her, cradling the petite humanoid form, lifting it gradually into the portal above. As Va's mortal form succumbed to the ancient predator, her essence embarked on a journey beyond the corporeal realm. The tunnel of light, a celestial passageway between the realms, beckoned Va's soul. In the luminescent embrace of this ethereal corridor, she ascended, transcending the boundaries of the tangible world. The timeless passage offered glimpses of cosmic wonders, starry constellations, celestial bodies dancing in celestial choreography, and the echoes of unseen forces that wove the fabric of the universe. Va felt a sense of weightlessness, a liberation from the constraints of earthly existence. As she moved further through the tunnel, a profound serenity enveloped her. The vibrant hues of the cosmic spectrum bathed her soul, imparting a tranquil energy that transcended mortal understanding. Va's consciousness expanded, touching the edges of cosmic knowledge. In this transcendent space, the mysteries of existence unfolded like an ancient scroll, revealing the interconnected threads that wove the tapestry of life. Yet, even in this celestial journey, a lingering connection to the earthly realm tugged at Va's essence. She sensed the remnants of her mortal life, a tapestry of love, sacrifice, and the indomitable spirit that defined her. The tunnel of light became a bridge between the known and the unknown, a passage through which Va traversed the cosmic expanse with a profound awareness of the intricate dance between life and the great unknown that lay beyond. Astonishment. XuXul's usual modus operandi involved swooping through the dying embers of a creature's life, absorbing what spectral nutrition emerged before settling for another long watching wait until its next harvest. Not once in the many eons of its existence had it experienced such tumult. A long-forgotten memory stirred within the winged watcher, its own demise recalled in sharp clarity, for floating above the violence below, XuXul beheld a strange nebulous creature, shimmering white, clear form, a discernible visage, unmistakably the ape-like female mangled in the jaws below. XuXul gazed at the shimmering form, now slowly turning to face it. Instinctively, its wings extended, its jaws wide open, XuXul dived in for the kill. The beam of light was painfully blinding, stinging its eyes and forcing it away from its quarry. The loud clap of thunder that preceded that searing light was deafening. XuXul froze, transfixed by the third presence embodied within the light. A muted conversation echoed, quite whispers that were barely audible. For the first time in the eons spent in spectral limbo, an emotion akin to surprise flickered within XuXul's consciousness. The ancient aberration, trapped in its own malevolent machinations, found itself momentarily stunned by the unfolding shimmering drama. The encounter with Va's ascending spirit disrupted the monotony of XuXul's existence, injecting an element of the unknown into its ethereal prison. Shock echoed through the spectral void, as if the very fabric of limbo quivered in response to the unexpected disturbance caused by Va's transcendental journey. The tunnel of light, a transcendental corridor between realms, stretched before Va's ascending spirit. It pulsed with a warm radiance, beckoning her into the embrace of the celestial beyond. The walls of the tunnel seemed to ripple with energy, resonating with the harmonious vibrations of the universe. As Va traversed this luminous path, XuXul could feel the sense of tranquility that enveloped her, easing the residual echoes of her mortal struggle. Simultaneously, a barrier materialized within the spectral limbo, a metaphysical blockade erected against XuXul's probing consciousness. Strange celestial beings of another unknown order, manifested in the spectral limbo, forcefully shunting XuXul aside. These ethereal beings radiated a serene luminosity that seemed to defy the very darkness of the limbo. With wings of iridescent hues that spanned the spectrum of celestial colors, they emanated an otherworldly grace. The grotesque entity, though endowed with a heightened spectral prowess, found itself powerless in the face of this celestial intervention. The cosmic dance of existence unfolded, and XuXul, thwarted in its attempt to scrutinize Va's transcendence, was left to grapple with the enigma of its own entrapment amid the radiant glow of the angels and the rude impenetrable barrier that now barred its way. Caught in the spectral limbo, XuXul's thoughts swirled in a tempest of uncertainty. The tunnel of light beckoned like an enigmatic portal, its luminescence promising answers that eluded the grasp of the grotesque entity. Was it a passage to salvation or a corridor leading to a new form of torment? The beings of the celestial realm fueled XuXul's imagination with their ethereal presence, leaving the creature to ponder the nature of their existence. As the contemplative tendrils of XuXul's intellect reached out, the enigma of the tunnel deepened. It became not just a radiant pathway but a symbol of transcendence, a leap into the unknown. The beings of luminous purity stood as sentinels in this cosmic expanse, their purpose inscrutable to XuXul. Were they benevolent guides or stern wardens? The creature, once driven by malevolence, found itself in the throes of existential curiosity. In the interplay of light and shadow within the limbo, XuXul grappled with the duality of its own nature. The desire for escape clashed with the apprehension of the unfamiliar, creating a tumultuous inner dreamscape. The tunnel of light, once an abstract curiosity, now held the key to liberation, and the angels, with their celestial grace, stood as gatekeepers to a realm that remained tantalizingly obscure and unattainable. Then, almost unnoticed, XuXul glimpsed out of the corner of its eye, a large shimmering silver ovid shooting down from the clouds to hover above the melee unfolding, waiting there, tentatively floating in stillness for an instant and then flying straight up to disappear beyond its visual sensory range. This was the first, but not the last, of the many encounters between the Wraith and these crafts. Objects in the realm of reality that moved with the speed and ease of spectral thought, objects that were too nimble to intercept but too enigmatic and opaque to ignore. Cosmic Cage. In the frigid expanse of the spectral limbo, XuXul, the grotesque, flightless dinosaur with a highly developed intellect, reveled in his dark creation, the spectral cage, a malevolent prison woven from the fabric of cosmic energies. This ethereal prison was not merely a place of confinement, it was a trap of closed harmonic time loops, tightening around its victim like a python's grip. XuXul, with its warped intellect, had delved into the arcane knowledge of the spectral void, learning to manipulate the cosmic energies that permeated this realm. It understood the delicate interplay of forces that could be harnessed to create these spectral cages, where a soul was trapped in a perpetual cycle of torment, never finding solace or rest. In the heart of the African Rift Valley, the small Homo Ergaster tribe thrived amongst the sprawling savannas and roaming wildlife. The two brothers, Ob and Ka, embracing the primal freedom of this ancient landscape, matured into young men. Ob, the younger and more handsome of the two, had recently paired with the beautiful XuXul in a union that echoed through their small tribe as a celebration of new life and possibilities. Their chemistry sparked an energy that resonated across the valley, and XuXul was expecting a child. The huge herds of game migrated across the African savanna, and the hominid troop followed and tracked them across their winding path. The air hung heavy with anticipation as Ob and Ka tracked a herd of wildebeest that had eluded them for 2 rising and falling suns. Securing a vital kill would nourish not only their bodies but also their spirits through the communion of the hunt. As they navigated the swaying golden grasses, a tense quietude took hold, pierced only by the occasional bird cry rising from thorny acacia trees scattered as far as the eye could see. Beneath the surface camaraderie, however, a sinister undercurrent had taken root within Ka's being, poisoning the well of brotherly bonds. Envy and resentment festered like an infection in his soul as he gazed upon his younger brother, who now held the affections of the alluring XuXul. Ka harbored a growing yet concealed desire to make XuXul his own mate, believing himself the more capable provider and protector. The brothers were haunted by a specter of tragedy that had carved itself into their path many seasons ago. In their youth, they helplessly witnessed their mother Va fall victim to the jaws of a Nile crocodile's watery domain. Her demise was a loss that had cast a permanence of shadow over young Ka's heart in those formative seasons under the African sun. He secretly blamed Ob for their beloved mother's premature death, though the reality was far less clear. Ka twisted the truth within himself over time, allowing baseless resentment towards his brother to fester like an infection from an unseen thorn. As the two now made their way through the undulating terrain, the onus of securing a kill weighed heavily in their minds. Their tribe's survival depended greatly on their success. Unexpectedly, the form of an aged bull wildebeest emerged solitary from the swaying blades of grass. The brothers wordlessly communicated through subtle gestures forged since childhood, coordinating their attack on this fortuitous prey that nature had delivered unto them. They stealthily closed in for the kill, muscles tensing as adrenaline pulsed through their veins. But in a shocking burst of violence, Ka turned on his unsuspecting younger brother, his simmering resentment having morphed into a malevolent darkness in his core. With his flint-tipped spear, Ka struck Ob in the chest, piercing his heart and extinguishing the vibrant life force within him. Ob gasped in bewildered agony, his vision turning to blackness on the brown earth before feeling himself depart his broken body. His soul emerged into a light-filled tunnel greeting him from beyond the mortal veil. There he was welcomed into the comforting embrace of his long-lost mother Va's spirit. Back on the physical plane, Ob's corpse lay lifeless, his lifeblood spilling wantonly onto the thirsty African soil. Ka, the sole harbinger of his brother's death, calmly returned to the tribal campsite alone, mentally plotting to conceal his sinister motivations. To divert any suspicion and preserve his own status within the tribe, he concocted a tale of a sudden fatal lion attack to explain Ob's tragic demise. The others unsuspectingly believed Ka's claims of merely failing to protect his younger sibling, never questioning the fabrication spun to veil his wicked truth. By the customary traditions of their small hunter-gatherer tribe, Ka took XuXul as his new mate, given her status as Ob's widow. Behind his guise of consolation and protection in the wake of her supposed tragedy, Ka concealed the swelling darkness in his corrupted spirit. Fulfilling his hidden desire, he now possessed the beautiful XuXul for himself through his web of deceptive machinations. All the while, the events among the hominids were silently observed by the unseen spectral entity, who had long kept vigil over these primitive ground apes. This wraith-like being had been present years before when the brothers lost their mother Va to the crocodile, remaining patient through seasons that followed to witness the next turn in the primal lives of these creatures. To the wraith's surprise, the darkness brewing within Ka continued on its grotesque trajectory after his successful ruse. In the years that followed, pain and infection slowly overtook Ka's body from the many wounds he had sustained on the hunts and savage attacks on other hominid clans. As sepsis leaked through his veins, death had firmly taken root, not discriminating in its cold impartiality. Ka experienced a harrowingly slow and agonizing demise as poison coursed below and fever raged above. When Ka finally surrendered the last traces of his corrupted mortal form, his wretched soul was beckoned by the ominous specter XuXul into its fearful non-physical domain. XuXul's creation was more than a mere torture device, it was a tool of extraction, a means to siphon off the spectral energy that sustains souls. This spectral energy was the essence of consciousness, the very fabric of being. XuXul, with its twisted intellect, sought to amass this energy, to fuel its own malevolent existence and gain mastery over the spectral realm. But XuXul's ambitions extended far beyond the spectral void. It yearned to extend its dominion over the entire cosmos, to reshape the universe according to its own twisted vision. The spectral cages were merely the first step in its grand scheme of cosmic domination, the means to gather the spectral energy it needed to achieve its nefarious goals. As Ob's spirit flickered, slowly succumbing to the spectral cage's relentless torment, XuXul's malevolent plan took root. Here the eternally tormented souls of the departed would swirl like whispers of smoke trapped between planes, a ghostly limbo where the karmic echoes of misdeeds reverberated without end.